All right, how do we record our background vocals? You know, here we have our lead vocal and it's sitting nice and loud and up front in the mix and whatnot. And what is it that Ken Tamplin does to get that big background vocal sound? You know, there's a lot that goes into this as well. And in some cases, I've layered tracks as many as 400 tracks. I kid you not, 400 tracks I've laid where I get that big sort of Def Leppard, AC/DC, Bon Jovi, giant chant sort of sounding vocal. Well, now, not everyone wants to do that, and it's kind of an old school thing to do, so I'm not even recommending that. But what I'm going to talk to you about is the way we can record background vocals to complement the lead vocal rather than distract or detract from it playing the front and center role to the most important thing. It's the centerpiece or the cornerstone of the song or the mix. So most people, what they do is they want to sing in thirds above the melody. So they'll sing, you know, if I go, hey, somebody will sing, hey, hey, and they'll go through, you know, thirds and 1, 3, 5 or 1, 4, 5 or whatever they're singing into the chord. That's fine if you're only doing a solo vocal or like a one vocal behind the lead vocal or two vocals behind the lead vocal and you want to track with the vocal. That's one way to do it. But there's also another way to do it that's actually really cool. And how we do it is we actually sing the chords that we're playing, and it gives the illusion that we're following the lead vocal in thirds or fifths or whatever, right? So if we sing the triad of the chord or sing a 5-voice chord or something like this, what happens is it gives a nice big fat chordal texture. It gives the illusion that as the lead vocal is trafficking across this chord that you've created as you're following the chords in a song, that there's a part that's following it, but you can't really tell, and it doesn't dominate it to the point where it sounds like bubblegum music. So it's a real interesting approach to sing the chords themselves and let the lead vocal be all by itself, and it gives the illusion that it's being tracked in a third and a fifth or a fourth and a fifth and so forth and so on. So try and experiment with some of these things because they're actually really cool. It gives a really interesting texture. Now, there's also different ways of recording the voice that are important to sing them in different layers depending on how big of a sound you're looking for. You can start out with a real bright hey, yeah, timbre in the sound first. Then you go yeah, yeah. You can use different distances of the microphone to give different air so that it has a different texture to it. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, yeah. And you can record these different textures behind the single note chords, right? Either the chord or following the vocal itself. And it gives this amazing texture. So if you sing 3 or 4 different timbres at different mic levels and different compression and hitting the compressor differently and hitting the preamp differently, what you're going to find is it gives this huge sound that starts to build on itself, and you can now hear how these recordings have these great, big, huge, monstrous, professional sounding background vocals that you only wondered how to get them. This is how you do it. You stack and build and stack and build and monitor your progress. By the way, airier sounds suck up a lot of track, so you may have to roll off a little low end to them so there's just more like a kind of sound that's kind of a cool smoky sound that's in the track, but doesn't dominate the actual vocals themselves. All right? Thank you for joining me, Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, and this is how to record your vocals.